Okay.
Assalamualaikum, how are you?
How are you? I'm good.
In the Zoom, you can also see on the right side the whiteboard. You can also use the whiteboard. And then at the last, you can share the notes and the PDF. Okay? We will make you co-host so that you can present and can deliver. We will be joining you shortly. Okay? Your introduction.
Okay.
Introduction, explaining of the plan, and after explaining the plan, go with the lecture. That's it. And then so that give him a break after 7, like you read this, and then we can do. Okay, so keep him interactive and engaged, and know about him, and then let him know the plan, and that's it. And straight away go to the lecture. We are standby. Will be get any issue. After your introduction, say him that I'll be closing my video so that we have no lagging. Okay. So you can after 5 7 minutes you can close your video so that you have perfect lag, perfect connection. Normally it's lagging if you're using video.
What is the student's name? I wanted to confirm again. Was it Muzammil?
His name is Muzammil Akram.
Okay, Muzammil. Okay.
Thank you. So we are standby.
Okay.
Now you can share. You can share as well. Yeah, you can share as well. Okay. Now your co-host.
So, if I have my shares.
I recommend to have your presentation slides open and shared, and then your video on, so that whenever they open to join, they have already a first slide of the chapter or whatever the notes that you have, and then you can present. You have shared something else. It's showing DAP second year.
Yes. Yeah, I
No, is this any?
yes. Trying to find if I can share the whiteboard as well at the same time alongside this, but I don't think it's giving me an option. When I share my screen, it only shows me map as well. I don't see. Uh,
Share your presentation.
yes.
Share your presentation and screen. Open the first chapter. Open the first topic that you have done. And the plan. Where is the plan? Let me share with you. What is the plan? First plan and second is you need to show the first chapter. Okay. Go with the first question.
Your audio is cutting out.
I'm showing that share the plan. Share the plan. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Sometimes it just goes back. Your audio just goes
Yeah,
back.
I was back. So share the plan on the screen with the student after introduction, sharing that this is the plan we're going to do. Then go to your lecture. Okay.
Okay.
So Hamna, our timing is that when you start 6:10 till like 7:10 till 8 p.m. And then say, let him know that we will be in the first session from 7:10 till 8 p.m. And then you will have a 10 minutes break. And then we'll do the second 30-minute session afterward so that he knows that there is a break. And make it interactive. This is your first class. You should be very good. I'm very much confident in you. And that's it. So plan. After plan, go to the chapter. I like to see the chapter. Can you open the chapter? Which topic you're going to show him?
Okay, this is chapter
Open the.
one. For I'll be okay. So I have written down the first page of every chapter would include all of the key definitions that are in the chapter. So like
Okay, go down. Go further down. Nice. Go down further.
I have this. I have given this like a tab, so I will have him memorize these. And after he has memorized them, and I will listen. And if he has a good understanding of these, then I will tell him the keywords that are needed in the definition. So and then
Okay.
I'll mark these off like, oh yeah, this is memorized, this is memorized, and then I tell him that if these are not memorized, you need to work on this and etc. And then
Yeah.
I have the further this those so the characteristics are basically the definitions.
Is there any picture that you have with the movement? Any picture that you created?
Ways.
Yeah, like this.
No, I go back.
Go like this. Go with the pictures and
Yes.
explain here one by one, and come with it. But normally they don't memorize. They say you have to learn it, understand, and let's go ahead. Any question? Ask like this. See, so put like this. When you explain on your definition, go to the page where there's a picture where you can show him with the pictures, and feel free to explain and understand and involve him. So this is the characteristics. You know that. Very good, excellent, and appreciate like this. Okay.
Mostly these are characteristics. These key definitions. I I I think these are just generic definitions. So like growth and movement. I didn't
Yes,
want to
yes. In
put more.
generic, you can do it. So you got the plan that we have
Yes.
for the 2 year or 2 months. Where is that plan?
Yes. I have the plan.
So having this open also so that he knows your what is the plan there. So
Is this shared? Is my screen continuously being shared?
sorry.
I think
Okay, student is
can you
joining
see?
you. So you can student is joining you now. You can close the screen and just introduce first. Okay. Okay. Good evening, Mr. Muzammal, and welcome to
Good
the
evening.
good evening. Welcome to the O-Level Richard School. This is your IT manager. I'll request your teacher to introduce yourself and you guys can continue. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Good evening, Muzammil. How are you?
Good evening. I'm fine.
My name is Hamna. I am a doctor. I will be teaching you IGCSE biology in 2 months, I believe. So I will be taking you along with me in this crash course of biology because I've heard that you've already studied most of the topics and you just need a crash course to give it the exam again, right?
Yes.
Okay. So Muzammil, can you tell me how are you just listening to these lectures or do you have like a notepad or a notebook and a pen or pen paper alongside?
Yeah, I have a notepad.
You have a notepad? Okay. So
Yeah.
can I ask you?
Sure.
Snapchat. Do you have
Yes.
any? Do you find it easy to study?
Yes.
Easier than
Yeah,
plants?
animals
Than
and humans are easy.
yeah. So you find that like the names of the plants and like
Yeah,
monocotyledons and
that is much difficult.
yeah, that you find that difficult. So okay. So do you have any specific chapters that you don't understand? So any topics that you find like, oh, this topic I never understood.
Yeah, one second. It's actually coordination and response, and
Oh,
yeah, and another is transport and plants.
oh, plants. There we go. Oh, do you have my timetable that I set for the crash
Yeah,
course,
yeah, I have.
which basically shows that we will be going through one chapter a day, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we will be starting chronologically. I have the book here with me, and we'll be going through all the chapters in the chronological order, right?
Okay.
So, what do you take? Do you take your notes in like? Do you take them like online on an iPad or what's more easier? Do you type them out or do you write them?
I know. I write them.
You write them. Okay, that's good. That's better because if you're faster at typing, more but you need to give the exam handwritten.
Yeah.
That's easier for you. Then. Okay, so this is how we first showing you. You have this plan, right?
Yeah, I have.
So today is the introductory class, but I will be showing you how I take my classes, how I normally conduct, where I teach, what media I use to teach. Okay, and this is okay. So you have your exam on the 16th, right? So there are 22 chapters. We'll go through each one chapter a day, and hopefully we'll end by this month. And from the next month, we have 2 weeks. We can just crash the past papers. We'll be solving. We'll be going through exam questions by each chapter, like topical questions. But we will solve exam papers in these 2 weeks, and then we'll have your exam,
Okay.
and then we'll do your practicals, and then we'll have your MCQ prep as well. Okay.
Okay.
What I use is Microsoft OneNote. So this, are you familiar with Microsoft OneNote? Have you ever taken notes on Microsoft OneNote?
No, no.
You know what this is? It's quite good. It's like you make your own book basically. You can write your notes and you have them all in just one. If you're good at typing or if you want to get good at like or taking online notes, So
Yeah.
this is a very good. Like it's like do you have Notion or you've heard of Notion and other platforms? Microsoft OneNote, it just uploads things on your drive. So your memory on your phone does not get like it doesn't get built up. So this is your ID. This is my notebook that I prepared. Do you see this? Do you see my screen right now?
Yeah. Yeah. I can see.
Okay. So in this book, this is IGCSE biology. So, and these are all the pages that are inside this IGCSE biology. These are all your chapters. Chapter 1,
Yeah.
chapter 2. So, in these, I've just written down the subtopics. So, in chapter 1, you have the 7 characteristics, the binomial nomenclature, the kingdoms, and the phylums, and like viruses and bacteria. See, these are the subtopics in this chapter 1, right? In
Okay.
chapter 2, you have cell organelles and structure, and then plant and animal cells and movement. You've got diffusion, osmosis, and active transport. In biological molecules, you've got fats, carbs, proteins, DNA, right? So these are all just
Yeah.
topics. So when we go through the first chapter, if we've studied this, you can just tick these off. Oh, I've studied this, I've studied this, I've studied this. I'm not so familiar. I need to go through nematodes and phylums. But I studied plant kingdom, virus and bacteria. Bacteria is easy. You just tick them off, right? As you go through.
Okay.
We'll tick them off as we go, as I've seen that you have learned these topics. Okay. So
Okay.
this is chapter 1. These are just the subtopics. Now we go to my second page here. This is chapter 1. This is chapter 1, and these are the pages in chapter 1. This is characteristics and classification. You've got first chapter, first page in every chapter. I will be including your key definitions. Key
Okay.
definitions are all the definitions that may come that you have to memorize. These are just memorific. You just have to memorize these. I will be having you memorize, and I'll be asking you to narrate these to me or explain them. And you know that you have a mark scheme in your exam, so I'll be underlining these are the key words that need to be in that definition. Okay. And then after
Okay.
you've learned this, you'll also be marking these off. Like you've learned respiration, you've learned sensitivity, I will be marking these off as well. Okay,
Okay.
as I've seen that you've done, right? So after key definitions, we'll go through each of these topics. Like we can go to classification, we can go to like viruses. We have a separate page for viruses, and this is all the what viruses contain. These are just the like cram notes that I prepared. Okay, you can just go
Okay.
through these notes and just cram in like because this is the crash course. I haven't included everything in that's in the book. So in chapter 1, I will be completing chapter 1 by Monday, but I will like to start because there's a lot of things that need to be memorized in chapter 1. It's super easy. Chapter 1. Do you think chapter 1's easy? You've studied this.
Yeah. 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 I've studied this. Yeah. It's easy.
Okay. Do you have all of these definitions memorized, or do you need to go through them every single time?
No. Yeah. I have memorized them.
Okay, good. So, okay. So characteristics of living things. We know what living things are. Do you
Yeah.
know the mnemonic for this? These characteristics?
Yes. Yeah. Miss Green, right?
Yes, Mrs. Gren. So
Yeah. Miss Green.
MRSGREN. Reproduction should be here.
Yeah.
These are not in like the mnemonic order. So Mrs. Gren is the order of the mnemonic. And do you know what each of these terms mean? So movement is an action by an organism or part of an action by a complete organism or a part of it, causing the change of position or place. So it's changing its
Yeah.
position. And this is an action. Movement is an action. This definition. Respiration. So in respiration, chemical reactions in the cells that break down nutrient molecules and release energy. So this definition has 2 points as well. Cells break down the nutrient molecules and release energy. If you just write these 2 points, you'll get the marks. Okay, respiration.
Okay.
You've got sensitivity, the ability to detect or sense stimuli in internal or external environment. You know what stimuli is? What's a stimulus?
Yeah. It is for neurons, I guess, right?
Yeah. So, uh, sensitivity. Can you tell me what? Okay. So the easiest way to explain, if you explain a child what sensitivity and you feel this sense, can you explain? it to me?
Yeah, like I'm gonna touch him and I'm gonna say like you're feeling this, so this is I guess sensitivity.
Okay, yes. Any sense of stimulus that also
Yeah, hearing.
touch also the temperature. Hearing smell is yes. Also hot and cold. If you need to explain to a child, you go like if you put an ice cube on their hand, they'll feel cold, and that is a cold stimulus. That you would be giving the stimulus on that would be the
Okay,
cold
okay,
sensations, and cold sensation will be detected by them. Okay, and
okay.
in external or internal environment. What's the external? What is meant by external and internal environment? You know what external environment is around us?
S-
What's internal
yeah,
environment?
internal inside our body.
What is, yes, inside our body. That's correct. I'm just going to stop my video. Okay. You still see this? Okay. So we've got sensitivity out of the way. Now we've got growth. Growth is the permanent increase in size or dry mass by an increase in cell number, cell size, or both. So when we grow, our cell size or number of the cells that are in our body increase. So the size increases, we can visually see this a person growing and like their size
Yeah,
changing, and their number of cells also change because their number of cells are doubling or tripling, right?
yeah, yeah.
Excretion. What's excretion?
Removing of the waste products.
Yep. The removal of waste products of metabolism and toxic materials and the substances that we do not require that are in excess that are in our body. So it's just a removal of these waste products or removal of excess substances and toxic materials from the body. What's nutrition? Nutrition, it's easy.
Yeah, nutrition is taking proteins and food.
Taking in of materials. And why do we
Yeah,
need this? For
uh,
energy, for growth, and for development, right?
yeah,
Okay. And plants and animals both require nutrition, and plants require light, carbon dioxide, water, and ions. Do you know what light, carbon dioxide, and water, what plants require this? Sunlight and carbon dioxide and water. What does this turn into?
photosynthesis. It's a process.
Yep, yes. They need this for photosynthesis. And what carbon dioxide and water turns into after photosynthesis, what are the end products?
The end products.
Yes, of photosynthesis. Do you remember the equation? It's carbon
Yeah,
dioxide, water,
carbon dioxide, water plus oxygen, and uh,
plus
yeah, I
oxygen.
forgot. No.
Plants take,
Oh, sorry, sorry.
yeah. So they take in the sunlight, they take in the carbon dioxide and water. And what do they produce for us?
Uh, Oxygen.
Yes, oxygen. And what do they have? What do they take in for themselves? They take in the energy and the glucose, right?
Yeah.
Glucose is made and oxygen is released. Oxygen is released for us and glucose is for them, right? For plants.
Mhm. Okay.
Okay. Animals need organic compounds, like organic materials. We need organic compounds and ions and waters. And reproduction is the biological process of producing new organisms that are called offsprings from their parents, right? This is Mrs. Grant.
Okay.
These are quite easy. Now, coming to second topic. So okay, you understand all these? I will be
Yeah.
okay, you can just tell me, can you write these down? If they're given in an exam, will you be able to write these down? Like if they were
Sure.
defined. Okay, I want you to narrate these to me by the end of the lecture. Okay, so
Okay.
classification, coming to classification. Do you know this classification? Kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. Do you have this memorized?
I have memorized kingdom, genus, species. Yeah,
Genus,
and yeah.
species. Okay, because genus and species are used in what?
Uh,
Are you, like,
for naming the organisms.
yes, because these two are the most important ones. These two are used for naming organisms. Because these are two of the end things. It's called binomial name nomenclature, right? So,
Yes.
but but this is the classification. This is from like the broader term. This is the broader kingdoms, and this goes down to species, which is the specific end of this one species would be one, like humans are one species, and humans would humans can be categorized in this by these two,
Okay.
names. But family would consist of many others, order would consist of many others as well, and kingdom would be like animal kingdom would have all the animals. It would contain animals and humans as well, and like vertebrates, invertebrates, all of them, right? So this
Yes.
is like very general, contains many organisms, right? And it goes down to very specific. Well, this is why it's called species, because it's very specific, right?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so this is how we classify all the organisms. Now we have like I have put this picture here. So kingdom would be like animal kingdom, right? Phylum could be like vertebrates, phylum arthropods, right?
Yeah.
And class would be like insects or mammals. Order, see these two, order and family. These are like these are the things that we don't normally know about it. Like animals, arthropods, insects. These are generic. These are like broader terms, so we know what insects are. We know what mammals are, right? So this is
Yeah.
easier for us, right? But when we come to order and family and genus and species, these are the more scientific terms that we don't normally know about about any specific species or any specific organism. So, but we don't even need to memorize them, right? Because in your exam, what I've seen, they already write down the genus and the species, and they
Yeah.
ask what's the genus and what's the species part, right?
Yeah.
Like the okay, but also tell me, when you're writing in like genus and species as binomial nomenclature, do you capitalize both of these species and genus parts?
No.
Which one's capitalized? Is it
Species.
species is capitalized? Species comes after genus. So this is the genus part, right? It's genus, and species comes after. So we only capitalize the first letter of the
Okay.
genus, and
Okay.
then it's all small letters afterwards. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so if I ask you, this is one organism. You can see it comes down to Janus Pexipus, and then this is another animal that is a Manus gigantea, right? I took this picture from the internet, right? So if I ask you, how are these two organisms related? Can you tell me what are the similarities between these two? Okay.
They both are animal.
Yeah, they both are in the animal kingdom.
Yeah.
This is how they're related. Everything else is different, right?
Yeah.
Everything else is different. So if I put another like category here, if I put another table here and write down like for humans, I would write down animal would be the same for us, right? Vertebrates will also be the same for us. We're also mammals. Humans are mammals, right?
Yeah.
So we would also have mammals would be the same for us, but everything under that would be different, right? What are humans called? What's the scientific name for humans? Do you know?
Uh, no.
No? Just a
No.
I don't know any other like the Manus gigantea or Danus pepper. I don't remember any of these, but only humans. Humans are Homo sapiens. Do you know that? It's Homo Homo sapiens, and sapiens is Sapiens. P I. It's very difficult to write now. Okay, Homo sapiens. Humans are Homo sapiens. So okay, if I write down humans in this column right here, then how would you, if I ask this question again, how are these two, just the animals and human part, these two tables related? How are these two animals related? What would your answer be?
Because they are mammals.
They're both animal. You're right. They're both animals. They're both vertebrates. They're both mammals, right? All of this part relates us to a Manus gigantea, right? humans and managed gigantea are only similar because they are both categorized till they're mammals. And after mammals, all of the things are different. This would be different, and this would also be different. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is about classification. It's quite easy, and the questions that come in the exam about classification are also quite easy. Okay, this is another thing that needs to, okay, animals or organisms are also classified. This is the general classification of every animal can be classified coming down to their names, coming down right to their names as well. So
Yeah.
we can also classify animals or we can also classify organisms by how they consume food or how they produce energy and like how they live, because living things need energy to survive, right? And
Yeah.
how is this being done? You can also categorize them. So this is another table. This is the energy pyramid, and you can categorize them by, okay, living things can be producers, like they produce the energy, right?
Yeah.
These are the producers, and primary consumers would be the animals or the organisms that eat or that consume the producers, right?
Yeah.
These primary organisms consume the producers. And what happens with secondary consumers? These secondary consumers,
They eat
these
primary
consume the
consumers.
yes. So, okay, so well, how would you differentiate between tertiary and secondary consumers? These two.
Uh, Tertiary consumers eat secondary consumers.
But okay, so if you say logically, right, these secondary consumers are eating the animals. These are like these rabbits, right? These rabbits are also animals, right?
Yeah.
So a tertiary consumer is also eating like snakes, and these are also animals. So what would be, how would you differentiate if you're given an eagle? How would you say that what if an eagle eats a rabbit? Does that make it a secondary consumer? It's tricky, right?
Yeah.
So here's the logic behind this, behind the tertiary and secondary consumers. So what happens here? These secondary consumers are only eating animals that consume the grass or like that consumes producers. Like the snakes,
Uh,
the animals the snakes eat, these animals eat grass. But the animals that an eagle eats does not eat grass, do not eat grass. They consume other animals, right?
yeah.
Eagle eats animals, consumers that eat other consumers that are not that don't consume just producers. See, this is the difference. Okay. So if I ask you again, explain the consumers and the producers. Can you explain?
Yeah. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. So producers are the one who provide energy for primary consumers.
Okay.
And
They
yeah,
produce
and
food.
yeah, they produce food for primary consumers, and primary consumers and secondary consumers eat primary consumers for energy.
Okay. And what about tertiary consumers?
Tertiary consumers eat secondary consumers.
Okay. So if you're given an animal, right? If you're given like if I say an insect eats a dead insect is feeding like an ant, like an ant is feeding on a dead cat. What would you say it is? Is it a tertiary consumer? Is it a secondary consumer? Which one is it? An insect.
And
Yes, an
yeah,
ant. An
and
ant.
and would be a primary consumer.
No, no, no. An ant that is no, not an ant. Wait, let me say an insect. An insect that is feeding on a dead cat. An insect. If I write down an insect eating a cat, a dead cat. Okay.
Okay.
Then what is the insect?
Uh, Primary consumer.
Okay. Primary consumers eat producers. Does the cat produce?
Yeah, but it is
No.
producing food for primary consumers, right?
Is a cat producing it? Okay, insect is eating. Insect, okay, this insect here is eating a cat. Okay, eating a cat, right? So you're saying if the insect is a primary consumer, that would mean this cat here would be making food. Is it making food for other animals? Do cats make food for other animals?
No.
No, they don't. So it's a cat. Cat cannot be a primary consumer. So primary consumers, producers, a producer. The producers are out of the way. So is the cat eating grass? Can you tell me, does the cat eat grass?
No.
No, it doesn't. So it's not a primary consumer either. So does a
Okay.
cat eat other animals? That
Yeah.
okay. If a cat eats other animals, do these animals, okay, if cat eats animals, so cat is a secondary consumer, right?
Oh.
So
Okay. Okay.
insects, okay, so when we say cat is a secondary consumer, so what would mean these insects? These insects would be higher because these insects are eating a cat. So these insects would be a tertiary consumer,
Okay.
right?
But I have a question. But if the cat is dead, then how she's like in this pyramid?
Okay, so it doesn't matter if the cat is dead or alive. Okay, so it's a cat. It's basic. Okay, the cat, even if it's dead, cat. What does a cat primarily eat? It doesn't eat grass. If okay, does a dead cat eat grass? If you're saying it's a
No.
dead cat doesn't eat grass either. It doesn't matter if it's dead or alive. Okay, if an animal is eating another animal, of course the other animal's dead, right? You
Oh.
can't eat it
Okay.
alive. Okay, where did it go? Wait, it's sorry. Okay, so is this understood? Do you understand? If you're
Yeah.
given a question and question is framed as a scenario, it's a scenario like this animal is eating this animal, this other animal. You have to think about what that other animal is, where that other animal, this second animal falls in the pyramid. You have to think about this other animal that's being eaten. Where does this animal fall in the pyramid? If you find that the cat is a secondary consumer, so the animal that's eating it would be a tertiary consumer. Okay?
Okay.
This is the easiest way. You don't have to think about what an insect is. That insect could eat grass, that insect could eat other things as well. But you have to think about what's the scenario, how the scenario is given. Okay?
Okay.
Now, was all about the classification. Okay? So if you're asked about if you're given just these two names in the exam, if you're given like this is a species, this is an organism named Janus taxipus. What is the genus of this organism? What would be
Janus.
the Janus? And what is the species?
Plexibus.
Yep, you can write this answer down as well, right? This is quite an easy. They just give you the answer already.
Yeah.
Okay, coming to kingdoms of living organisms. We've classified the top most was kingdom, right?
Yeah.
Now we have all these five kingdoms: one, two, three, four, five. Animals, plants, fungi, protoctus, and prokaryotes. Right? Are you familiar with
Yeah.
these?
Yeah.
Which ones are the easiest?
Uh,
Animals,
Animals and
easy.
plants.
Animals and plants. After this, it gets confused. It gets confusing, right? For
Yeah.
fungi, you can memorize fungi. Oh yeah, fungi.
Yeah,
It's
I can
mold,
memorize fungi, but the
and
prototis and
these
prokaryotes are hard.
these pro organisms, these pro kingdoms. These are tricky. These are
Yeah.
confusing, right? Okay. So if you find animals and plants easy, just go. You read these. You read the characteristics and then tell me. Okay,
Okay.
and then explain them to me. The
Okay.
similarities and the differences between these two.
Okay. Okay. So animal are multicellular,
Yeah.
and
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 plants.
they and their cells have nucleus but no cell wall or chloroplasts.
Okay.
And plants are also multicellular, and the cells have nucleus, cell walls, and made of cellulose and they contain chloroplast.
Okay. And then
Yeah. So difference is that the animal have no cell wall and plants have cell walls.
yes.
And
Cell
animal feed on organic substances and plants feed by photosynthesis.
and their morphology, their like structures are also different. Animals have like limbs and other structures, and plants have animals can have lots of different kinds of structures, right? They can be insects, they can be like four-limbed animals, they can be they can be small, they can be large. But plants, all plants have roots, stems, and leaves primarily, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're familiar with these. These are okay. These are this is easy. Now fungi. Okay, fungi. Okay, these are also fungi are also multicellular. Let's get that out of the way. The only thing here on this chart that's unicellular is prokaryotes. Prokaryotes, these are the
Yeah.
only ones that are unicellular. Okay, all of the rest of them are multicellular. Except for Protoctis, some Protoctis might be unicellular, but generally they're multicellular as well. Okay, fungi. Let's talk about fungi. Fungi, they are they are usually multicellular. They have a nuclei and cell walls, but their cell walls are not made of cellulose. Okay, these
Okay.
cell walls
Yeah.
are not made of cellulose like they are in plants. Plants have cellulose, these do not, and they don't have chlorophyll either. Chlorophyll and chloroplast it's only in plants, because you know that the function of chlorophyll in plants, it gives the green color, and it's used for in photosynthesis, right? And
Yeah. Yeah.
photosynthesis only happens in plants,
Yeah.
right? So plants are the only organic like structure or organisms that would have chloroplast and chlorophyll, right? So they don't have cellulose and they don't have chlorophyll. And they feed by parasitic nutrition or saprophytic or parasitic nutrition. Do you know what parasitic nutrition is?
No.
You don't know what parasitic is? Do you know what a parasite is? Like a generally, do you have any? Okay, a parasitic, no, parasite would be someone that lives inside another organism, and
Oh.
or like
Okay.
not
Okay.
even if it doesn't live inside that organism, it feeds on other organisms, and when it feeds on another organism, it kills it. So if, the most common would be like a parasite is like a parasitic mosquito or like a parasitic virus. Like if it gets you, it kills you, right? Parasite
Yeah.
is an organism that feeds on you, and it kills you as well. It harms you. Okay, so just have that in mind. Now fungi, the best way to remember fungi is fungi are like mold. You know when you have put out your bread outside for a few days, it gets moldy. That mold
Yeah.
is fungi. That's a fungus.
Yeah.
That's a fungus. Yeah, right. So bread mold. This is the bread mold, right? It contains spores and it has other structures. And then mushroom. Mushroom is also a fungi, a fungus. Okay. Bread mold and mushroom are fungus. Now coming to Protoctis and prokaryotes. Okay, Protoctis are multicellular, can be multicellular or unicellular. These have nucleus and may or may not have cell wall or chloroplast, and some feed by photosynthesis and other feed by these Protoctis have both animal and plant like characteristics. Like they are the most, they share their most similarities with plants, right? When I said before, like plants are the only structures that have like chloroplast, protoctis also have like chloroplast and chlorophyll. This because they sometimes they can do photosynthesis as well. So protoctis, right? Protoctis, because just think that when there's two T's, it means they're closer to plants. Okay, this is a way to remember. If you see two T's, if they ask write the characteristics of Protoctis, you see two T's, you need to write the plant features, and you know the plant features. Plant has
Yeah.
photosynthesis. Plant has chloroplast, you write these down. They may or may not feed by photosynthesis. They may or may not have cell wall, and when you write photosynthesis, like animals and plants both have, like animals, plants have photosynthesis and animals have organic substances. They feed on organic substances. You write both of these characteristics, right? The two
Yeah.
T's, remember the two T's closer to plants. Two T's are closer to plants. The plants have T in them as well. Now, coming to prokaryotes. Okay, prokaryotes. Karyotes means having a nucleus. You know what that karyotes means? Like a true nucleus, a nucleus, a nucleus.
Yeah.
Okay, because when all of this classification, before all these 5 classifications, these plants, fungi, scientists only classified things because they had just made the microscope, right? The microscope was invented and they could see cells. Scientists were like, oh wow, we can see cells. And when they saw cells, they were like, oh, these cells have a nucleus. And they saw other
Yeah.
cells, oh, these cells don't have a nucleus. So they just classified them as like, oh, organisms, like every single organism are classified into two like kingdoms, like the ones that had a nucleus and ones that didn't have a nucleus, right? So prokaryotes were the ones that had a nucleus, that had a true nucleus, because a has nucleus has like DNA, and like DNA is, you know what a DNA is
Yeah.
generally. Yeah, it contains the genetic material, it makes up chromosomes, and it gives like structure to, it gives like proteins, it gives like individuality to any organism, right? So
Yeah.
these were the organisms that had a nucleus, that had a DNA, proper DNA and everything, right? uh, Wait, prokaryotes. Okay, prokaryotes were when they divided these two karyotes. Okay, this pro means before. You know how you write pre
Yeah.
something. If
Yeah.
pre means before, right? This pro also means before. This pro means
Okay.
before nucleus. Like there's not the things, the structures that are before a true nucleus. Okay, so when before it was divided into uh, prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Have you studied about prokaryotes and eukaryotes before?
I've studied about prokaryotes, but not eukaryotes.
Eukaryotes. Do you know what this U means in things? This whenever have you heard of the term eureka? When someone says eureka,
But,
uh, have you heard it in cartoons or like shows? Oh, eureka! When an idea comes to a person, they say eureka,
oh yeah.
right? This U just means true. This U means true. This U translates to true. So these are true nucleus. This means true, and karyotes means nucleus, right? If you divide this, uh, so eukaryotes were the cells or organisms that had a true nucleus, that had a true nuclear structure and with DNA and everything. And prokaryotes were before nucleus. So prokaryotes didn't have a true nucleus, but they had like similar features. They had DNA, but it wasn't quite formed. It was like half made DNA. Okay, so they named that as prokaryotes. And then afterwards, when there were many other scientists who did more research, and then they further classified into organisms into animal, plants, fungi, and protoctis. What they did was they broke down these eukaryotes. All of these other organisms, like animals, plants, fungi, and protoctis, all 4 of these are you they were classified under eukaryotes, because they all had a true nucleus, because we all have a true nucleus, we all have DNA, we all have chromosomes, right? And other
Yes.
nuclear structures. Prokaryotes are the only ones that do not have a true nuclear structure, or they are often, so these are the characteristics. They're unicellular, they have one cell, they have no nucleus, but they have cell walls, and they have no mitochondria. So they have half the structures in the cell. They don't have. So you have to write when in under prokaryotes, you have to write no nucleus. no nucleus. Okay, but they had a cell wall. So they had cells, but they were like unicellular. They were like a single cell structure. So basically, these are bacteria. When we talk about bacteria, we say, oh, bacteria and viruses as well. Okay, bacteria
Yeah.
and virus.
But a virus is not a living thing, right?
Yeah, bacteria, virus do not classify under living things. They are because virus are debatable because they're still debating whether it's living or non-living, because they, when it comes inside a host, it's living, right? We have viruses as our next topic as well, right?
Yeah.
So here, do you understand now? If I ask you protoctis, what do you think now?
Yeah, well, they are multicellular, but some of them can be unicellular,
Oh,
and
when I said,
they
yep, go on.
yeah, they have two T's in its name, so it is related to plants.
Yes, so now you know that plants have cellulose, and you know plants have
Yeah,
plants have chloroplast. So you have to write this. You have to remember. Oh, these are the protoctis were the organisms that had like both animals and plant features. They were like these are confused. They sometimes do photosynthesis, and some of them do they feed on organic substances as well. And prokaryotes. When you see the word karyote, you think nucleus. You think nucleus. Pro
yeah,
is before nucleus. Okay,
four
before
nucleus.
nucleus.
Yeah,
So no nucleus. No nucleus, no mitochondria. No nucleus, no mitochondria, and these are usually bacteria. Okay, these are usually bacteria.
okay.
So I put some pictures here of like this is a plant. See, this is a fungi I showed before, and these are protoctis. Protoctis are like Paramecium, Chlamydomonas. These two are the staple names in every biology book. When they teach protoctis, they say Paramecium, Chlamydomonas. If you say these two names multiple times or like often, you find them easy to say and you find them easy to remember as well. You see protoctis, two T's meaning they're
Yeah,
closer to plants, and then Paramecium chlamydomonas. You just think PC. You think PC, protoctis. You see there, okay, protoctis has two T's and it has like a TOC in it, right? TOC.
yeah.
So it means it has P and C, Paramecium chlamydomonas, Paramecium chlamydomonas. If someone asks you to write any two organisms coming under that are protoctis, you can write Paramecium and
Paramecium. Okay.
chlamydomonas. It's fun to say.
Chlamydomonas.
Paramecium chlamydomonas. Okay. Now, and this is bacteria. This is a bacteria. Okay. E. coli. This is an E. coli. Escherichia coli. I've written down here E. coli. E. coli. It's a. You just write E. coli. It's easier as well. And this is a bacteria. You are you familiar with the structure of a bacteria?
Yes.
Yes. Can you tell? Okay, I think I've put another picture somewhere. Okay, here it is. This is a bacterial structure. Can you tell me this structure? Right here. You
Uh,
see my cursor?
yeah.
Okay, this is labeled as well a flagella or flagellum. It's a singular flagellum, so it's a flagellum, right? Whenever you see this structure and see, because this structure, this worm-like structure here, this could be anything. If you see just here this diagram, you can think, oh, this could be anything, right?
Yeah.
Uh, wait, I think some fan noise coming. Am I audible clearly?
Yes, sure.
Yes. All right. If the fan is loud, there is a fan working, but if it's loud, I can just close it. It's cool here, so it wouldn't matter.
Miss
Right?
Hamna,
Just let me know.
Miss Hamna, there is some distortion. I think it's because of the hand free or maybe the fan or something get behind you. When you speak, it's giving some sound. So, anyways, you after in the 5 minutes break time, you can adjust. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. okay, so Muzammil, you hear me, right? If
Yeah,
you're having any issues, do let me know. So if they are on my end, I will fix them. Okay, let me know
okay,
right away if I'm audible, if my audio cuts or anything. Okay,
okay,
I'm running on like a single Wi-Fi device right now, so I could have issues. I can fix them. Okay, let me know.
okay.
So let's resume back to bacterial structure. So when we see this cell, one cell structure, this could be anything. We see, oh, when this is given in our exam, we just think, oh, this is just like a worm. This could be a centipede. This could be anything. But this flagella separates. Whenever we see this flagella in and the diagram, we think, oh yeah, it's a bacteria. You can just think
Okay.
this bacteria diagram. Okay, so bacteria can have many flagella as well, right? They can have like multiple flagella coming out of one end. They can have flagella coming out of like other ends. But it's a common thing. It's very okay. So what does this? What can I ask? Do you know what the flagella does? How it helps the
Uh,
bacteria?
no, I just have learned the diagram. I don't know about flagella.
You don't know? Okay. What do you? Well, okay. What else do you know about the bacterial cell? Bacteria. What else do you know?
They
Like
contain cell wall and they also have a capsule. Capsule. They have the empty space.
okay, good. Okay, so flagella, can I just tell you that okay, in chapter one, there's a common question. They ask, okay, what does the flagella do for a bacteria? It helps in the movement, right? This flagella
Okay,
helps the bacteria to move, okay?
okay.
It helps the bacteria to move or swim around inside like anything. You know that there are bacteria inside of our body as well. They are not harmful, like
Yeah.
some bacteria are harmful, but our bodies sometimes need bacteria as well to like
Yeah.
have for
Yeah.
metabolism and other things. So these bacteria needs to move around, and they don't have any limbs or anything, so they use this flagella and for movement, right? Okay. Now coming to viruses. Okay. Okay. If you see this diagram, this is the easiest diagram of a virus. It's not complicated at all. It's like there are other diagrams of viruses, but this is the simplest one. It has only two of the main things that are in every single virus. That's a protein code and a genetic material. Right? Are you familiar with this diagram?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're ever asked, what is this diagram? You just say it's a virus. And then if they ask you, write down two structures that are in a virus, or write down two like the things that show you that this is a virus. What do you write? You write a protein code and genetic material. You just have to memorize the protein code, genetic material, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and these are the characteristics. The how you were saying that like viruses, how viruses are not alive, but
Yeah.
they're not alive until they're inside a living cell. Like viruses are not alive until they're inside you. You know how it's like there's a viral infection, but come if you think about it, that virus was not living until it was inside you, until you're having this infection, and that you're making this virus live alive. If you think about this, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but they are harmful. When they take over a cell, like a host cell, they take over the host cell and then they multiply. They multiply themselves, and then when they multiply, the new virus burst out of the cell, the host cell, and invade other cells of the host, right? Because they keep multiplying and then multiplying. So when they occupy such a larger space, they don't have enough space, and then the cell bursts. The cell is dead then, the host cell, and where this kills the host. See, the next point is the host is usually killed, but on its own, a virus cannot move, it cannot feed or excrete or show sensitivity or grow or reproduce or do anything that a normal living thing does. See, like when it comes inside a body, it multiplies, it takes over, it multiplies, it bursts and it invades other cells, and like it kills the host. It does so much damage and so much, like it does so much activity. right? But outside on its own, it doesn't even move. It cannot even move. So whenever we say that, oh, you have a viral infection, you have a flu, or you have anything, that virus got into your body through like air, through wind. It wasn't even moving on its own. Okay, so it doesn't move or feed or excrete or show sensitivity, grow or reproduce. This structure has a simple DNA or RNA and a protein code, right? This is all you need to know about a virus right now. So protein code and genetic material. They're not living, right? We're learning characteristics of living things, but viruses are not living. A common question that comes in the exam is differentiate between virus and bacteria. So what would you say, how, explain how you've studied bacteria, right? This was the
Yeah.
bacteria
Yeah.
and this is a virus.
Yeah.
What's different?
Bacteria. One second. Bacteria is a living thing.
Yeah, that's 1 point. Yep.
Yeah, and it has a nucleus.
Yeah, it has a nucleus.
Yeah, and it has a flagellum.
It has a flagellum. And
Yeah.
viruses, what do viruses have?
Viruses also just have protein code and genetic material.
Yes, viruses only have a protein code and genetic material. So you can write everything else that is in a bacteria. You can write bacteria have a cell wall, bacteria have cytoplasm, bacteria have nucleus, bacteria have DNA, bacteria and viruses both have DNA, but they don't have like other structures. They don't have cytoplasm or ribosomes or capsules or cell walls or anything else, right?
Okay.
Now, coming to animals. Now, this is the two phylums. Do you know how many other phylums that are in animals? Animal kingdom has many other phylums as well. You know how we studied kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species? Okay, I also need you to memorize this. Kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. You can make, and do you know how to make, do you make your own mnemonics, or do you like Mrs. Gren is a very common mnemonic?
Yeah.
You can make your own mnemonic, right? Like how I showed you, like the two t's, this is how I remembered. Like this is like a trick that this is how I remembered protoctis. You can make your own mnemonics and own like cheat codes and how you would remember. So there are okay, I think I have it here. See, these are the phylum vertebrates, phylum arthropods, phylum nematodes, phylum mollusks, and phylum annelids. These five phylums are in the animal kingdom. These five phylums are in animal kingdom. Okay, these are all animals, but they have different there are other different phylums. Now, here we're only studying two of these. So two of the major ones are phylum vertebrates and arthropods. Okay, when you when you hear the word vertebrates, what do you think?
The warm-blooded.
Hmm?
I guess warm-blooded.
Warm-blooded.
Yeah.
Vertebrates can be warm-blooded and cold-blooded. They can be cold-blooded as well. All vertebrates. Okay, well, vertebrates. What does it mean? If I say vertebrates, one characteristics of all vertebrates. Okay, they have a backbone. You know this,
Oh yeah,
right?
cuticle. They also have a cuticle.
Yes, a backbone and a cuticle. Vertebrates have backbone, and what do invertebrates don't have a backbone, right?
Yeah.
Vertebrates have a backbone, and invertebrates don't have a backbone. So, okay, when I showed you these phylums, vertebrates have a backbone, and all of these other ones, these are all invertebrates. Okay. Okay, I think my charging is running low. Let me just turn on the charging. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so we're here at vertebrates and phylum arthropods. These are the most important phylums. So, are you familiar with phylum vertebrates? Is it easy? Okay, can I close
Yeah.
these tabs? You can only see these two. Okay. Phylum vertebrates. Do you know what mammals are?
Yeah.
You're familiar with mammals, birds, reptiles, fish, amphibians. All of these are
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah.
Do you find anyone that's like you don't recall? Oh, I'm confused between fish and reptiles. Usually, fish and
No, no.
amphibians are most confusing. But okay, yeah. Okay, these are easy. So I've written down the characteristics of all of these. Okay, so if you know how like in your exams you're given like you've seen past papers, there are multiple images of like vertebrates.
Yeah,
They
this is
sometimes ask, yeah, they ask like write down the characteristics of all vertebrates. So like in all vertebrates, they all have a backbone, like so like similar characteristics. But if they just ask you write down the characteristics of just mammals, you would write that mammals have hair, they have mammary glands, they're endothermic, like or warm-blooded, and you can say other characteristics as well, right? Do you find these characteristics easy to write? Like mammals,
yeah.
birds, these are easy characteristics, right? So mammals, you know that they have hair and they have mammary glands, and then placenta, diaphragm, teeth, they come along as well, and then they're endothermic, right? What does endothermic mean? You know,
Warm-blooded.
warm-blooded. What else? Endothermic, like literally, if I ask
Uh,
you,
yeah, but I studied in chemistry. I think
chemistry,
endothermic and exothermic.
exothermic. Yep, yep.
Endothermic are the ones who took the heat. I guess.
Yes, yes. They take heat, and exothermic are the ones that release heat. Yep.
Yeah.
Here they warm-blooded. Okay. Uh, okay, and then we have birds. Birds have feathers. That's the most common characteristics of birds. Birds have feathers and they have wings. Like how you know how like we have arms and legs. Like mammals would
Yeah.
have forelimbs and hind limbs. Birds have wings and then they have a beak. Birds have the easiest characteristics. They lay eggs. Now this is the thing. They lay eggs with hard shells. Hard shell
Muzammil,
eggs.
do you need any break, 5 or 10 minutes, or you're good to go with the straightaway class?
No, I'm good.
Okay. So, ma'am, you can continue the class. Thank you very much.
All right. Okay. So birds lay eggs with hard shells. Have you seen a bird laid egg? What's the
Yeah.
common? What's you have eggs at your home? Those are hard
Yeah.
shells. You know, like you crack those eggs with the shelled eggs. Okay.
Yeah.
Reptiles have scaly skin, right? This is the most common thing. Scaly skin, and they lay eggs with rubbery shells. Have you ever seen a reptilian egg?
Uh, yes.
Okay. Yes, you have.
Yeah. Snake eggs only.
Oh, you have seen a snake egg. Yeah, gonna give you an example of like lizard eggs. Like lizard eggs, they're quite tiny, but like they don't have like you can crush those eggs, right? They're tiny eggs, but they don't feel like they have like a hard shell or like they feel like there's some sort of they have like other consistency of the shell, right? Now we have fish with also scaly skin, but these scaly skins are different, right? These two scaly
Yeah,
skins.
they're kind of hard.
Yep. Fish scales and reptilian scales are different because we've seen fish, we eat fish, and you know how like we descale a fish sometimes, like have you ever seen like your mother or like at a restaurant when they descale a fish, their scales are different, there's tinier scales and they're like easy to just remove. But
Yeah.
reptiles have like a hard scales. The reptilian scales are very hard to to break because like imagine a crocodile skin and a fish that you would normally eat. They have much different skins, right?
Yes.
Now fish have gills and fish have fins. Common like the birds and fish, like these two have the easiest, I think, characteristics. And then we have amphibians. Now explain what amphibians are. If you were to tell me in like single definition, amphibians. Yes, Muzammil?
The adult often live on land and the
Yes. and water and underwater. They live on land and underwater. If you ever need to explain to a kid or to anyone what amphibians are, you just tell them these are the animals that these are the vertebrates that live on land as well as underwater. Now, they live on land and underwater, but they specifically lay their eggs underwater, right? They lay their eggs underwater. Sometimes, I think, yeah, they lay their eggs underwater. There are only a few, there will be an exception if they lay their eggs on land, right? But these, when they grow out, when they turn into an adult, they live on land mostly. Okay, and they have moist and scaleless skin. Now we were studying about the like scaly animals up till now. We were like fish and reptiles both have scaly skin. Now amphibians have like moist scaleless skins. They have like have you ever seen like a frog? Like frogs have like smooth, like almost wet skin, and they have no scales on it, right?
Yes.
Now, okay, this is the kingdom animals. This is phylum arthropods and phylum vertebrates. These are vertebrates has fish, amphibians, birds, mammals, reptiles, and arthropods would have insects and what else? Insects, crustaceans, arachnids, and myriapods. And these are other. The animal kingdom has three other phylums as well: nematodes, annelids, and mollusks. Okay, uh, I have not prepared much about them because the book I was using did not give much detail, but I would give an overview about what these three phylums also contain, like the genetic know-how of what these organisms are like. But for now, phylum vertebrates was the easiest, right? Phylum vertebrates, you can just say these are the most common ones: mammals, birds, reptiles, fish, amphibians. Coming to arthropods. Okay, now when I asked you vertebrates, you said backbone. Okay, right? Vertebrates have backbone. What do arthropods have? Like if I were to ask you, tell me a characteristics that all arthropods have, what would you say? What can you say? Do you have something in mind?
No. Actually, I had, but I forgot.
You forgot. Okay, that's okay. So arthropods means jointed limbs.
Oh,
Does
yeah, I
that
was
ring a bell?
about to say that limbs.
Yeah, limbs. Oh,
I did.
jointed limbs. Now, arthropods, jointed limbs. You just think, oh, you when you think vertebrates, backbone, invertebrates, no backbone, you think arthropods, jointed limbs. They have to do with limbs. They've got multiple limbs. They've got and all those limbs are jointed. What does jointed limbs mean? When I keep saying jointed, and you haven't asked me what that means. Do you know it? What it means?
Yeah, the limbs are joined together.
Limbs are joined together. Our
Yeah.
limbs are joined together as well. Jointed limbs means they have multiple joints in the limb. Do you know what joints are? Like you have your elbow joint and you
Yeah.
have your knee joint and you have your wrist joint. So our limbs have like two joints in them, right? Their limbs also have joints, but we don't fall in the arthropods where they have multiple jointed limbs. They have multiple jointed limbs, okay, and their joints are multiple as well. Now, these, the most common are insects. When we think arthropods, oh, multiple legs, and insects have multiple legs. Now, these three are also similar to insects. Like these three, when the most similar would be like insects and myriapods. You know myriapods?
Yeah.
Yeah. M for M, and when you see M, what do you think? Millipede, millipede, centipede, millipede, centipede. This is how I remembered. Let me have my drawing on. Okay, so we have M. So when we say it's a pod, it has a pod in it, so it has multiple limbs. So it's an insect type. It's in arthropods, right? So it's like the small insect thingy, but it's not an insect. But it has an M in it, so it's a millipede. So and millipedes and centipedes come under the same category. So we would categorize them together.
Okay.
Now, starting from the top, insects. Now, read this and tell me what do you think, and do you find this easy?
Yeah, arthropods with three pairs of jointed legs, two pairs of wings, breathe through trachea, body divided into head, thorax, and abdomen.
Yeah, body divided into
Yeah,
head, thorax, and abdomen.
yeah. So they have three pairs of jointed legs and two pairs of wings, and they breathe through their throat, trachea.
Trachea,
Uh,
they like we have trachea. Humans have a trachea as well.
yeah,
So
yeah,
okay, so these two things, insects. Okay, this wings line, they could have wings and they could not. Also, they could also not have wings as well. So the two most important points would be they have three pairs of jointed legs and their body are divided to head, thorax, and abdomen. Right, these 2 points are the most important ones. Right, all insects have three pairs of jointed legs and body is divided into head, thorax, and abdomen. Whenever you see like an insect, like if I draw an insect, like like this jointed leg, this three pairs. You know what pairs mean? Pair means two. So you have three pairs on three
yeah.
legs on one side and three legs on the other side as well, right? So an insect would have at least three pairs of jointed legs. Insects are easy. Insects like the examples are locusts and moths, right? There's a okay, this is a moth. This is a locust, right? You've seen this. You don't know its name, locust. We just normally
Yeah,
call it
I've
like,
seen
oh,
this.
it's a, yeah.
Yeah,
Everyone has seen this. It's quite common. We don't say, oh, look, a locust, right? But
yeah,
we've all seen this. And a moth is like a butterfly but uglier, right? The easiest way to remember a moth is like a butterfly, but it's not as pretty as a butterfly, right?
yeah.
And yeah, it's annoying to look at. Like when we see a butterfly, we're happy. When we see a moth, we're like, oh my god, what is that? Right? Coming up, crustaceans. Now, crustaceans, arachnids, and myropods. Do you know how to differentiate between these, or do you confuse them? What are your thoughts on this arthropods? Do you find
Uh,
arthropods easy?
yeah, arthropods are more easy.
Arthropods are easy. Okay.
Yeah,
Now, can you explain crustaceans, arachnids, and myropods? Like, uh, are they as easy as like mammals and reptiles?
yeah.
So, quick.
Crustaceans, they have more than four pairs of jointed leg, and they're like fishes. They breathe through their gills.
Yep.
Yeah,
Crustaceans. You know how the crustaceans would like think of like sea creatures, right? Like
yeah,
crustaceans. You whenever you see the word crustacean, you just think, oh yeah, sea insects. Just think like sea insects. You would think crustaceans. So like crabs. Like crabs are like they're not animals, but they're closer to an insect, right? They have like multiple limbs, so they're closer
yeah,
to an insect. So and they're in like on the ocean. So you would think like ocean animals, ocean like insect creatures are crustaceans. So they live near ocean, so they breathe through gills, and they're not millipedes or centipedes. Like okay, they're not millipedes or centipedes. They're crabs. Arachnids. Can you tell me about arachnids?
yeah. They also have four pairs of jointed legs, and the body parts are in two parts.
The body parts have. Okay, what's the most common arachnid? You know how like in this mammals, birds, reptiles. When you think birds, you have so many birds that come into your mind, right? I've written down crow, but there are like so many birds. You can think of a pigeon, you can think of an eagle. There's so many, right? But when
Yeah,
in arthropods, when we see the word crab, we see OCR crustacean crab. And you can just write the features of a crab. You can think of the example and then write the features that a crab has. A crab has four pairs of legs. It breathes through gills, right? And then when we see arachnid, you can just think of, oh, a spider. And then you can write all the features of a spider, right? Four pairs of
yes,
jointed legs. The spiders have 8 legs. You can write four pairs of legs, or you can write 8 legs as well, right? And then
yeah,
you can have body parts. right? One thing about arachnids is that they do not have antenna. I haven't written this down. I will write it down later when I share these with you. They don't have antenna. You know how like some insects have antennas, right?
Yeah, like yeah, they have.
They don't have antenna. Now coming to myriapods. Myriapods, M. You see M and you think, oh, millipede. And then when you think millipede, you automatically think centipede as well. You know what millipedes and centipedes are?
Yeah,
They're
they
like
are insects.
these long insect, worm-like insects with like multiple legs and legs and legs. They just have so many legs, right?
Yeah.
And then,
But I have a question.
yes,
The
you ask.
millipedes and centipedes look like an insect, but they are in myriapods.
Yes. So they look like insects. So when I said insects, insect body was divided into head, thorax, and abdomen, right? Insect had like when you see an insect, it has like a head, and then it has a body, and then it has a thorax. It has like three parts. When you see
Oh,
a myriapod
okay.
or like a millipede or centipede, you see like you have like they have like so many segments inside their bodies. You see so many segments. This is
Yeah.
how they're different. You see a
Okay.
multiple segmented insect. You can call these insects. Like normally, when a normal person sees a centipede, you just call them, oh look, a bug. You just call these bugs, right? You call
Yeah.
them insects. Generally, we generalize them because we're not like biologists, but when we're studying, you know the difference. You see that these have so many segments. So these are body segments. They have multiple segments in their body, and each segment has jointed legs, right? So when
Yeah.
we talk about the head, thorax, and abdomen, the head of an insect does not have any jointed legs, right? A head may have antenna, right? Head could have antenna, but they don't have legs coming out of it. These legs come out of the other parts, the thorax and the abdomen. The thorax and the abdomen has legs coming out in insects. But in myriapods, every single segment has their own limb. Like it has one limb on that side and one limb on this side, and one like small legs everywhere, like a centipede, right? So
Yeah.
these are the two most important points to remember. They have many segments, and each segment has a jointed limbs. Each segment has 20 limbs, right? So you visualize these, right? Insects, think of like the bugs that have head, thorax, abdomen. Just head, thorax, abdomen. The tiny bugs that like like an ant, or like an ant that you can like pick up. It's tiny and it has three parts, like one, two, three, right? And when you say crustaceans, you think crabs. And then when you say crab, it has four pairs of legs
So, oh,
and it lives gills. It has gills because it lives near the sea. It lives near oceans, right? Arachnid is spider. Arachnid's spider. So spider has four pairs because we know spider has eight limbs, eight legs. Spider eight legs, and we have and it has two body parts. See, insect had three body parts. Spiders have two body parts. And then we have myriapods with multiple segments and all these segments have jointed legs. Now I have some pictures here. This is a crab. See this crab?
yeah.
Okay. Sometimes you're asked to write two characteristics of arthropods. Like you're giving all of these are arthropods. Like these are all of these arthropods. Some similar structures would be like, do you see these hard shells? This
Yeah.
exoskeleton. What's an exoskeleton? What's an endoskeleton? Do you know?
Exoskeleton don't have bones.
Skeleton. You when you think skeleton, you think, oh yeah, something that's like covering or for protection, for like shape, right? Skeleton is skeleton. What There's an exoskeleton and there's an endoskeleton. They're like endothermic and exothermic,
Oh,
right?
okay.
What does endo and exo mean? Exo would mean outside, right? Or
Yeah.
endo
Okay, I
means
got it
inside.
now.
So this endoskeleton, like we have an endoskeleton because our skeleton is inside our body, and all of these arthropods have exoskeleton. Like see these, they have like skeleton and they're like a hard part outside their body. They have like hard shells outside their body. And look, also like a spider, when you pick up any insect, it has a hard surface. So their skeleton is outside. They have an exoskeleton. See all of these. So if you're asked to write any two characteristics of all arthropods, you would write they have jointed limbs and they have exoskeleton, right? I will write this down as well. Okay. One thing about Microsoft OneNote is that when I draw these lines, if I move this picture around, my drawings would not move with the picture. So if I underline something and I move the picture, the underline would be gone. Tragic, but it is what it is. Okay, now I showed you a picture of locust and moth. You've seen a crab. Crab has an exoskeleton. It has a hard covering. And then spider. Everyone has seen a spider, right? Spider has
Yeah.
8 legs. And you clearly see in this diagram, it has 2 body parts. See this part, and then there's the head part, right? 2 body segments. So when I in here arachnid, 2 body parts and 4 pairs of jointed limbs. 2 body parts and 4 limbs, 4 pairs of limbs, or 8 legs. And then we have centipedes. Centipede has so many segments. Like look, this is a segment, and then this is a segment, and then this is a segment, and then every segment has jointed legs. Each segment has their own jointed legs. Okay.
Uh,
Yes, you have a question? I've put pictures of like mammals as well. These 5 pictures, fish. What's this? A frog. What is the frog? What's the phylum? How do you categorize it?
they have most skin.
No, no, no. A frog is a what? Is it a mammal? Is it a bird? What is it?
Uh,
What, what type of vertebrate is
Mammal.
it?
Yeah, it's a mammal.
It's a mammal? Look, here
Uh,
it is. You see
no,
this? Is it a fish? Is it a bird? Not a bird. It's not a fish. It's not a mammal because you told me mammals have hair. Does a frog have
no,
hair? It doesn't.
uh,
Is it a reptile?
no. One second. Uh, I think frog was amphibian, right?
Yes, a frog is an amphibian because you can find frogs underwater. Do you know the baby frogs? What are they called? Tadpoles, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Tadpoles are underwater. Do you see a tadpole on land? No, you don't. But you
No,
see frogs on land. So
yeah,
baby frogs or tadpoles are underwater and frogs are on land. So they come under amphibians.
yeah.
And we have birds, and then we have a snake. What's a snake? Is it also an amphibian? What is it?
No, snake is a reptile.
It's a reptile. Yep. You gave me the example of, you gave me, when I asked you name a reptile, you told me snake. And when I think a reptile, I think of a crocodile. When you think of reptiles, you think snake.
Yeah,
I think a crocodile or an alligator, like hard, scaly skin, right? And then mammal, you can think of so many mammals: a cat, a dog, a lion,
yeah.
humans, right? Mammals are so easy. So these are all vertebrates, and all of these are arthropods. Arthropods, arthropods, arthropods. Now, see, you see this Microsoft OneNote, you can just zoom in this whole page. You can like make this page so much bigger. There's so much space. You can do so much here. There's like you can just make zoom in, zoom out. All of your notes could be like in one single page. You can think
Sure, I will
when
get
you
it.
yeah, try to make your own Microsoft Notes. It's quite easy. It's fun to use. Okay, do you need a break now? Are you tired? We have half more hour left. They told me
No,
to
I'm
give
good.
you. Yeah. Well, usually in our 2 hour class, we would have like 10-minute breaks in between, like 1 hour
Okay.
and the other.
Miss
Okay.
Now we left with 10 minutes more, and then you can give the homework. It was about 1 hour and 30-minute class. So you
Okay.
can,
Okay.
in the next plan, you
Okay.
can
So,
follow me. Thank you. And
Muzammil,
please do share the PDF notes that you made it on that to the OVS. OVS will share with us. Thank you. Bye.
okay. Okay. So we have 10 minutes. You know,
Yeah.
what's fun about this is what I like to do whenever I'm studying. You like checking things off.
No.
Okay, now let's check things off. Let's see what we can check off, right? 7 characteristics of living things. Mrs. Gren, tell me.
Yeah. Movement,
Yep.
respiration,
Yes.
excretion,
Hmm.
and reproduction,
Yeah. 4.
growth,
Growth. 5.
and nutrition and
What?
respiration. Yeah. Uh,
Respiration. Yep.
yeah.
Okay, good. We've gone through movement, respiration, sensitivity. You left out sensitivity, I think. Growth,
Oh,
excretion, nutrition. This okay. Classification was here. Wait, characteristics. Yeah, this was in characteristics. Okay, movement, respiration, sensitivity. Mrs. MRS, Mrs. Gren, GREN. So R is reproduction. This reproduction would be after GREN, right? Growth, respiration, excretion, nutrition.
Yeah.
So you know the 7 characteristics of living organism. Binomial nomenclature. What was it?
Yeah. It is used for naming the organisms.
Yeah. Naming organisms.
Yeah.
And how? What do you use in this? What
Genus and species.
genus and species? Good. Animal kingdom. When I showed you a diagram of animal kingdom, the animal kingdom had so many phylums, right? Phylum vertebrates, arthropods, nematodes,
Yeah.
mollusks. So here in kingdoms of living things. So animal kingdom, instead of I would just ask the kingdoms. I would change this. Let's change this. Okay, but wait. Let's add another one. Kingdoms. Kingdoms of living things. Right? Kingdoms of living things. What were the kingdoms? Do you remember?
Yeah. Animal kingdom, plant kingdom, protectus kingdom, prokaryotes.
And fungi.
Oh
Animal,
yeah.
plants, fungi. You just like memorize them chronologically, like animal, plants, fungi, animals, plants, fungi, and then you say protoctis, prokaryotes, protoctis and prokaryotes, protoctis and prokaryotes, right?
Yeah.
So, do you remember the uh, characteristics? If I ask,
Yeah.
okay, animal and plants, you know. Tell me about
Uh,
fungi.
fungi. They
Just look at
have
these. Multicellular was the first one. Are fungi multicellular as well?
fungi. No. No, fungi was not
No?
multicellular. Maybe it can
Yeah.
be a multicellular.
Okay, when you think of fungi, think of a mold or a mushroom. Mushroom is so big. Do you think there's only one cell in a mushroom? You know, mushrooms
Oh,
are in food, in pizza, right?
yeah.
When we say cells, you think cells are like so tiny and you can't see them with the naked eye. You need a microscope to see a cell, right? But you can see a
Yeah.
mushroom. So fungi cannot be single celled. They are multicellular, right? Because
Oh,
fungi
yeah.
are big, where they're bigger in size. You can see a mushroom. So a mushroom should be multicellular, right? think logically. If you think about like fungi and you can think of like any like characteristics, think about what the example. Things like, oh, a mushroom is a fungi. So what is what's like new about a mushroom? You know that mushroom grows on trees, right? Mushrooms are tree.
Yeah.
So it should have it should like have a cell wall.
Yeah. Hello. The voice is not coming.
Plant cells have cell walls, right? No cell wall here. Uh, am I having internet issues?
Yeah. Now it's good.
Okay, am I audible now? So
Yeah.
where did I cut off from? What
From
was I saying?
the fungi.
Cell from the fungi from okay. So I was saying if you can't remember the characteristics of a fungi, remember that fungi is a mushroom is a fungi. So when you
Yeah.
see a mushroom, you know that a mushroom it's quite large. You can hold a mushroom. Mushrooms in pizza. Mushrooms are in pizza, right? You have
Yeah.
so it can be it's multicellular and mushrooms grows on trees, right? There's a
Yeah.
mushroom plant. You say mushroom plant, right? But they're not plants, they're fungi. So it's like a plant. So it would have cell walls.
Okay.
Like animal cells don't have cell wall, right? No cell wall. But fungi is like a mushroom. Mushroom has a cell wall because it grows from the ground. But it does not have cellulose or chlorophyll like a plant has. Like any plant would have chlorophyll or cellulose. Okay, when you think of a fungi, when you think of mushroom, do you think of a do you visualize a green colored mushroom or like a black or blue colored mushroom?
Brownish. Yeah. Brownish.
Brownish, right? So
Yeah.
chlorophyll gives green color, right? But a mushroom is not green, so you have to say
Oh.
mushrooms do not have chlorophyll. It's logical, right?
Yeah.
You can think of this. They have a cell wall because they grow from the ground. They're like a plant, but they're not green, so they don't have chlorophyll.
Okay.
And fungi. So there, have you heard that there are like poisonous mushrooms?
Yeah. I've heard.
So poisonous mushroom, how are they poisonous? But some mushrooms are not poisonous. We eat them. So this is how why we write they feed by saprophytic or parasitic nutrition. Right? Parasitic nutrition would be like a poisonous mushroom.
Depending on
Okay.
others. Yeah.
Yeah, depending on how it like how it feeds itself. So a poisonous mushroom would have parasitic nutrition, and the mushroom that we eat would have saprophytic nutrition, right? So when you
Yeah.
think of a mushroom, it's easier to think about like fungi, right? The characteristics
Yes.
of fungi are easier. Good. Protoctis. Tell me about protoctis. What did I say about protoctis?
Yeah. But they are multicellular, and
Yeah,
they can also be unicellular.
they can also be unicellular. Okay. A
Yeah.
protoctis, if you're asked to write characteristics of protoctis, so you think two T's. Plants have T's. So
Yeah.
protoctis are closer to plants. So you can write they have nucleus, may or may not have cell wall or chloroplast, and photosynthesis and organic substances. Right? You have to write both the characteristics of animals and plants combined.
Yeah.
They may have animals, they may have plant characteristics, they may not have plant characteristics, right? And these are the two common examples: Paramecium, Chlamydomonas. Paramecium, Chlamydomonas. Okay. Prokaryotes. What were prokaryotes? How did I tell you about
Yeah.
prokaryotes?
They have no nucleus because they have no nucleus, and they can be often unicellular.
Yes, they are unicellular because they contain like bacteria. They're often unicellular. And prokaryotes. Karyote means nucleus, and pro means
Yeah,
before
before
nucleus.
nucleus.
Yes. So this is you just when you see prokaryote and they ask you to write characteristics of prokaryotes, you just write they have no nucleus because pro means before karyote is a nucleus, and it's the opposite of a eukaryote, which means a true nucleus,
Nucleus.
right? Prokaryote is nucleus. You have to remember that. Okay, these were the diagrams, and I showed you bacteria. What does the flagella do for a bacteria?
Yeah, but it helps it to move.
Yes, it helps it to move and to swim. To move and swim. Right? Let's go to viruses.
Yeah,
We're
they're
just doing
non-living.
yes, they're not living. But when are they living? When do they live?
When they go inside a cell, then
Yes,
they
when
live.
they go inside a living cell. Then they live. But what do they do when they're
Uh,
inside a
they
living cell?
they attack the cells and the host is
Yes.
usually killed. And the
Yes.
virus cannot move, feed, excrete, or grow.
All of the things that we studied, the movement, the nutrition, excretion, sensitivity, growth,
Yeah,
reproduction. This is Mrs. Gren, right?
yeah,
Virus on its own cannot perform Mrs. Gren, cannot do all the Mrs. Gren things, right?
yeah.
But what are the two things that a virus has? The structure of a
Yeah,
virus.
it has genetic material and protein code.
Yep, genetic material and protein code. Okay. So if I ask the differentiate between a virus and a bacteria, how would you say? What would you tell me?
Bacteria are living things and viruses are not.
Yes.
And yeah, bacteria have more characteristics than viruses.
Characteristics, or like you can say structures. Bacteria
Yeah,
has more
structures.
structures. You can name these structures as well. You can name any structure that you remember in your exam. Like bacteria have a cell wall. Viruses do not have a cell
Yeah,
wall. Like you can write bacteria
they have
has cytoplasm.
cytoplasm. Yeah,
Yep. Bacteria have flagella, cell wall, cytoplasm, and ribosomes. All of these things, and viruses don't. The only thing the viruses have are protein codes and genetic material,
yeah,
right? And then we studied phylum vertebrates and arthropods, right? This was quite
yeah.
easy for you. Okay, this was easy. Uh, Phylum vertebrates. If I ask you, write characteristics of all vertebrates, all of these, what would you say?
Uh, I would say they have backbone and cuticle.
Backbone and cuticle, or you could say they have endoskeleton. They, all of these things have skeleton inside their bodies, right? All mammals, birds, reptiles, all of their bones are inside their body. And
Yeah.
arthropods have jointed limbs and they have exoskeleton.
Okay.
These are the two characteristics of all of the arthropods. And then there's specific characteristics of like insect, and then arthropods are divided into insects, crustaceans, arachnids, and myriapods, right?
Yeah.
These four, and these phylum vertebrates are in these five. Okay, coming back to tick off our studied seven characteristics, binomial nomenclature, animal kingdom, and then we studied phylum vertebrates, we studied phylum arthropods. I didn't include all of these other phylums. And then did we get to plant kingdom? We got to plant kingdom. Uh, okay. I'm going to stop sharing now. Kamil, am I still audible?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now tell me, uh, do you like the scheme of lecturing that I'm doing right here? This like order of events, like how I show you. What?
Yeah.
Give me some pointers. How if you found anything like difficult or not?
No, I didn't
Or
find anything difficult. Yeah, it was good.
it was good. Okay, so if we revise a chapter, like I would prepare like all the chapter things. Okay, wait, I would show again. Wait, let me. Um, Here, do you see the OneNote again? Right? Okay.
Yeah.
After all of these, like all of these, in the end, I would make another page. See, you can add a page right here in the bottom. You add a page, and then you can just write whatever. Wait, I would add it after. Wait, let me delete this page. After this, I will add a page that will have like your exam questions, like the past paper questions. If I find those, I would include those, or I would include like other test questions. So I would ask you these questions. I will do that, and after like, and the first and the last page of every chapter, the key definitions, you need to memorize these, and the last page would have all the other questions. You have to go through these, right?
Okay.
Questions. I will include this. So this is how we would be going through after each chapter. So I would be sharing this as well. You can go through this, and then afterwards you can find exam questions at the end, and you can just go through like the key pointers and everything. Like if you need to study virus, and you can like you scroll and make the page smaller too. So you just think, oh, this was all I learned. This was everything inside this chapter, right?
Okay.
So, do you need any other way to perform? Like this is like this. I made these charts. If you find this too wordy, too like there's too much words, and they're like if you don't find this easy to remember, we can just go with pictures, and like
No, these are easy. They're easy to learn.
these are is this easy to learn?
Yeah.
It's not too wordy. So
No.
like if I wait it the like classification. If I just write down, like if I just have a paper, like a picture, and then I explain myself. Do you like having words on the screen as well? Okay.
Yep.
Okay. How did you study before this? Do you have like a planner? How do you go about your exam prep?
I had a
Do you
book,
have,
so
yeah,
yeah, I studied from the book, and then I have a notebook. I studied and then I wrote notes.
you wrote notes. Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
So when I'm making these things, I basically am making my own notes. So when I asked you in the beginning to write down, okay. Oh yeah, I forgot. So I need you to take out your notebook, write down today's date, like 1st September. Write down 1st September 2023 at the top right or top left, and then write down chapter one. Write down chapter one, write down
Uh,
biology chapter 1, write down the name of the chapter, characteristics and classification, and underline this. And then I want you to write down the major points, like all of these subtopics. Like you learn classification, you write classification, and then you just write, oh, kingdom, phylum, class, or every like pointers. You just write like small points. You don't have to write all of this down, but I need you to write down everything that you studied, right?
okay.
I taught you classification, write down classification, and write kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. I need you to write down. I would ask you to write down. Okay, write down when I say kingdom, and then you just write the names: animal, plant, fungi, productive, prokaryotes. And if there's a thing that you want to remember, oh, the two T's. If you think, oh, this is something new, you write that down. We studied
Okay.
viruses. Just write down viruses. You don't have to write anything else. Just write down protein code genetic material. Just write viruses, and then you just put a dash, and then write protein code, and then that's all you need, right? Just
Yep.
write down pointers, okay? And uh, I would like to see what you write in the class as well, because you told me that you write down by pen and paper, and that's how you prepare. So
Yeah.
I need to see. I don't want you to just listen to me giving you lectures.
Yeah. I wrote.
You did right. Okay, that's very
Yeah.
good.
I wrote classification, kingdoms, viruses, bacteria, arthropods, and vertebrates.
Nice. So write down today's date, write down the topics. So if you have to go back and you can think, oh yes, on the 1st of September, we studied these topics. You don't have to write down everything, you just have to write
Yeah,
the
I'm done.
main. Okay, good.
Great. Thank you very much, Dr. Hamna, for your all the study lecture today. Muzammal, how did you find? It's good?
Yeah, it was very good and understanding.
Great. And we're wishing you that you could pass with a good grade. Muzammal, you can just exit the class and we'll continue with
Okay,
today's doctor. And we'll send you details through our WhatsApp channel. Thank you very much, Muzammal. Have
okay.
a good
Thank you so
evening.
much.
Bye.
Good evening. Thank you, ma'am. Good evening.
Goodbye.
Dr. Hamna, you
Yeah,
there? Very good job.
yes, I am.
Excellent. Excellent. Great job. Very good.
Thank you.
I really like your way you're teaching. Couple of things for you to for your improvement. First of
Yes,
all, time management.
okay.
Okay, because you may be having 45 minutes session and you may have two classes. So you need to, whatever you want to teach, try to be covered up in a way that it should be within the time frame. So time management is the key. Okay. I'm happy that student did not feel any boring and you make it interactive, which is very nice. And secondly, when you were speaking, now you can you speak now? Can you speak now?
Yes,
5 minutes,
yes,
whatever.
yes.
Yes. So whenever you're
Okay,
speaking, your hand free is having issue. Remove your hand free. Remove your hand free.
okay.
Can you on your camera? Can you on
Now,
your camera? Okay.
so I think when I remove my hand free, I think it's more like a sound issue for me because I hear you, but I hear it like a quite dim sound.
So your hand free is continually causing like a typing tick, 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 tick sound. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So now you're
I'll
okay.
change the method.
I thought there is a fan behind you, but there is no fan. Now you're okay. Did you remove? Can you on your camera also? I want to see this without.
Okay, yes, 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 yes. Okay.
Yeah. Now you can speak
So
without hand
I
free.
think yeah, these are I have headphones as other headphones as well. I think I will be
Yeah, this is
switching to
the
those.
okay.
I
No, I
think
got it.
these.
This is the hand-free issue. It's not your issue. It's not his issue. It will continue like a typing sound was coming in. So, great, good job, excellent. These first chapter you can always share to our WhatsApp group to me, and I'll share with the student and whatever you have them work. And I like the way you explain it. Your speed was good. It was interactive. Keep on asking the question. Make him involved, which is nice. And what else? There was sound is your hand free. It's not because internet was stable, but I'm happy that
I
if you
have
have an
other heads.
yeah, try with another one or maybe with the wired one is better. Try a wired one
Yeah.
and keep
And
on keep
yeah.
now you
These other
now
handpiece, I
again
have a headset as well.
now
I would be
again
changing
again
it.
again this is issue again the tapping
This-
speed tick 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 is coming. Don't use it.
Oh,
I think you have a laptop, so a laptop mic is fine. I can hear you clearly. There is no issue. And while you are teaching, I suggest you keep your laptop little higher, close to your face and mouth. So what
okay.
happens is then it will give you an ease to speak. Don't like tired. I don't want you to put in your lap, otherwise you will tired. You put in like 2 3 books under the laptop and keep it up so that you are having your height size when you are speaking and presenting. That your sound will be fine. Now you can speak, and I want to listen you. See, listen.
I
Now you
think the
are.
handpiece was like just for me because the laptop coming from my laptop, the sound coming from my laptop is like quite dim for me. So I think
So
that's
I
the only reason
suggest
why
you.
I
I suggest you take the hardware sort of hand
yeah,
free,
yeah, 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 yeah. I
which
have a
is
headset,
like
I have a headset.
the big one, the old one. That will actually
Yeah.
easy for you to listen and also to communicate. Great. Send all those details. I'm looking forward to having your class on Monday. So you have to take a look at the timetable. We don't want to give him 2 hours straight away. We have made first like 1 hour 30 minutes and then go on. Let him do the work. Otherwise, the students will be used to that every day they want 2 hours from you to sit down. I don't want that he make a 2 hour sitting with them. Okay. And keep on reading the chats we will be having during the class so you know that it's a 10-minute break. Okay, I'll
Yeah,
give
I
you the
think yeah, because I was having my OneNote opened and I was like writing on it as well. The
so
chats were
I
not
can
opening on my
I
screen. Yeah.
So you have WhatsApp on
I
screen
still,
also? You have WhatsApp on screen as well?
yeah. I have my phone here. I have WhatsApp opened as well. I hear the click of, I hear the notification sounds, but I don't like,
Okay, no
when I'm
worries.
teaching, I see, yeah.
We
I'll
will
look into
try
it. I
to,
think I can,
yeah,
yeah.
we will try to share you on the WhatsApp. So you have your phone there and you can see what the message is there. Regularly after 5-10 minutes while you're asking the question, check it out so that we can see what's going on. Overall, good job. Sound was the issue. So I hope so the next class you will be having your on that too. I will
Okay.
be doing interview with your colleague tomorrow also, maybe for chemistry. So we'll let you know. Have a good
All
one.
right.
Thank you very much. Good night.
Thank you. Good night as well.